Under the ring she crushed lay my unspoken medical report: severe lung damage due to exhaustion. I wouldn't live past 30. In the ring's reflection, I saw a man in a white coat, her attending physician, whom I'd once seen delivering fruit at the gay club. In my pocket was a note from an old client. Slipped to me last night. Kid, that woman was cozying up to him and entering a hotel just last week. The money you've saved. It's probably supporting someone else's lover, isn't it? When the ring rolled to the ground, I was completely stunned. Only a buzzing white noise echoed in my ears. People on the street were startled by the commotion and turned to stare. They pointed and whispered, their eyes reflecting either pity or mockery. The scrutinizing gazes of strangers felt like daggers in my back, and my cheeks burned. It took a long time for me to regain my voice, and I asked, trembling, "Chloe, what's wrong with you?" I didn't understand. Everything had been moving in a positive direction. So why was she suddenly turning on me? How dare you ask? Chloe's face was filled with disgust. I heard a long time ago that you were flaunting yourself in gay clubs at night, but I never expected you to get this famous, even making it onto the city's hottest trending list. She unlocked her phone, opened TikTok, and thrust the screen in my face. Prominently displayed on the trending list was, "Viral Dancer Scandal." In the video, I was wearing a sheer shirt, swaying my hips and body, my eyes full of allure. My fingers made suggestive gestures around my groin, vividly provocative and inviting speculation. The views instantly surpassed 1 million, and the comment section was filled with propositions and offers of luxury cars for pickups. Chloe pressed the phone to my face, grinding her teeth. Do you still have the nerve to deny it? I felt as if I'd been struck by lightning, my entire body frozen in place. It was a creative dance I had to mimic from a viral video creator to maintain my popularity, never expecting someone to secretly film it. This is me. I wiped my face and sighed. I am sorry. I lied to you. The truth is, I couldn't raise that much for the surgery. Chloe sneered, her eyes full of contempt. What a total disgrace for a man. A real man, prostituting himself for a living. I forced back the sharp pain in my chest and managed a strained smile. I know this line of work is disreputable, and I know it's flagrantly selling my body, but I swear, all of this was to save you. To me, my dignity means nothing compared to your life. I'd rather die than be saved like this. Chloe raised her hand and slapped me. Leo, you're only fit for performing for men, not for being my husband. Get out of my sight. I never want to see you again. 3 years ago, Chloe was diagnosed with severe scoliosis. This condition would deform her spine, compress her internal organs, affect her daily life, and carry a risk of disability. The only solution was corrective surgery, but it cost up to 2 million, and involved significant risks. The moment I heard the diagnosis, I collapsed into a chair, my hands trembling. Chloe, meanwhile, cried even more heartbreakingly. For 3 years, Chloe had broken down in my arms countless times, begging me never to abandon her. She said she was only in her early 20s, with infinite possibilities ahead, and shouldn't die so young. She said she didn't want to leave in pain, but just wanted to live healthily, by my side. She said that besides me, her boyfriend, she had no other family in this world. With a heavy heart, I held the girl I had loved since high school. Now emaciated from the torment of her illness, I promised her again and again, don't be afraid, I'll find every way to save you. However, I underestimated the cruelty of reality. At that time, my parents had recently divorced, and my mother had passed away in a car accident, leaving me with little to no savings. Every penny I'd saved while studying, plus the money I'd cobbled together from loans, amounted to barely 1 million. How many days and nights would it take an ordinary person to save that much money? Yet, it was only enough to sustain a fragile life for a few months. The illness showed no mercy, with medical bills piling up like death warrants. At my wit's end, I had no choice but to swallow my pride and step into the world of nightlife and indulgence. Perhaps influenced by my upbringing, I always possessed an unwavering resolve deep down. I firmly believed that a man should naturally bear all responsibilities and protect his vulnerable, loved ones. This conviction led me to vow, from the day Chloe and I became a couple in high school, that I would help her escape her dysfunctional family background. I would provide her with a safe haven. I was willing to bear everything for her, including tuition fees, living expenses, and later, her exorbitant medical costs. However, behind that commitment lay a dignity that could crumble at any moment. When I stepped into that world of men, donning that revealing performance outfit, I could no longer hold my head high. I swayed my hips, batted my eyes, and twisted my body like a man possessed. Amidst the whistles of men, I hated that I had become such a dissolute sight, but I had to do it. On my first night doing gigs, I only earned a few small bills. Clutching those paltry few bills in my hand, I couldn't help but smile bitterly. It turned out my cherished dignity was worth no more than that, but I couldn't give up. Chloe was still waiting for me, on her hospital bed, gritting my teeth. I made satisfying men's desires my goal, sinking deeper and deeper into this path of no return. I frantically studied all kinds of dance techniques, doing splits and high kicks. I observed the preferences of different clients, constantly updating my attire, poses, and patter. Bit by bit, I honed my skills, and clients became more and more appreciative. Finally, one day, when I put on my leather briefs, donned my wolf ears, and let out a seductive cry, the men below the stage frantically stuffed cash into my waistband. Thanks to my relentless efforts, my value skyrocketed from being worth $10, then $100, to being fought over for $1,000 a night. I became the hottest gigolo in the gay club, with cash flying everywhere, drawing clients who couldn't get enough. On the eve of closed surgery, I bid farewell to the regular clients at the gay club, thanking them for their patronage over the years. Looking back, though I had endured humiliation and mockery, I had finally made it through. That group of devoted old regulars cried buckets, vying to stuff money into my underwear, setting a new record for single night earnings. I knew continuing to dance would have me making a fortune, but my conscience told me it was time to stop. This path didn't lead to heaven, and I absolutely couldn't let Chloe know about this sordid past. Chloe listened to my words, paused for a moment, then gritted her teeth. Stop playing the victim. I see nothing but a lowlife to the core. I asked you to save me, but I didn't ask you to be a gigolo. Videos of you striking seductive poses in gay clubs are all over X and viral videos, and those pictures of you making out with old men. Ha, so you just rely on your looks to seduce men for money. Disgusting. Base. I had long imagined her reaction when she learned the truth. Perhaps she would be angry at my deception, or feel pity for my suffering, but I never expected to receive only accusations of being disgusting and base. To save her, I pole danced, poured drinks, and endured the harassment and groping of lowlifes. I worked day and night, desperately earning money, just afraid that one day, she wouldn't be able to wait. Yet, after more than 1,000 sleepless nights and painstaking efforts, all I earned was the word disgusting. I wanted to tell her that I had never done anything inappropriate. I never went on dates with clients, nor did I ever let them take advantage of me. Whenever clients tried to tempt me with luxury cars and beautiful women, I would think of her on her hospital bed, and I swore to maintain my integrity. But now, what was the point of any of it? The person before me was no longer the girl I once needed to protect, or perhaps, she had never truly let me into her heart. I felt as if my insides were burning, my heart ripped apart. Disgusting. I sneered. But your life was bought with disgust. Every drop of blood and every bone in your body was earned by my base self. Don't you find yourself disgusting? Chloe clearly hadn't expected me to retort, and she was momentarily dumbfounded. I pressed my advantage, speaking mockingly. You have no idea how precious money is, because you've never earned a single cent in your life. With just that pretty face, you can spend my money and use me. You're the basest one. You're talking nonsense. It was clearly you. Chloe's face flushed red, and she stammered for a long time, unable to form a coherent word. Finally, she just tore off her mask and stated, "Enough, that was all your choice, don't blame me. Anyway, I am done with this, we're over." Over, such a simple, decisive word. It dawned on me then that her breaking up with me was only a matter of time. Today was just an excuse. She could slander me however she pleased. An ungrateful person always has to devalue their benefactor to justify their own wrongdoing. I stared intently at her, my gaze piercing, until she nervously looked away. Only then did I speak, my voice chillingly low. Fine, I can't wait to be free of this misery. Being with an ungrateful wretch like you, I'd truly be afraid of dying by your hand one day. But we need to clarify the money matter. Your surgery cost a total of $2,463,214. IVE already calculated it. You won't escape this debt. Back home, a severe illness suddenly swept over me. The exhaustion of the past few days seemed to finally find an outlet. My head swam, my limbs felt weak, and I collapsed onto my hospital bed. Wrapped in the warm blankets, I felt something slipping away from me. All those promises turned to dust, all those intimate confessions, all those sweet, tender memories, slowly drained away with my body temperature. Only humiliation clung to me like a shadow, refusing to leave. I don't know how long I'd been unconscious, but a jarring ringtone jolted me awake. It was a text from Chloe. She had transferred 500,000 to me, along with a mocking message: "That was all your choice. Don't say I owe you anything. Making money isn't as hard as you made it sound." Could a mere 500,000 settle everything in her eyes? Where did a woman who didn't even have a job get that kind of money? While worrying about her, I also despised myself for my own weakness. I slapped myself a few times across the face, then tremblingly dialed her number. "Hello, who is this?" A grating male voice replied, "Excuse me, is Chloe there?" The person heard me and let out a few lewd laughs. "Oh, it's Mr. Hayes. I am Blake. It's a pleasure, Blake. I'd vaguely heard that name before. Just a month ago, I saw in the news that this playboy had hit and killed someone, then used his family's money to settle everything. But why would he be answering Chloe's phone? What? Didn't expect your woman to find a new man so quickly." Blake said sarcastically, "I should really thank Mr. Hayes for making Chloe so enchanting and captivating, truly a feast for my eyes." Before he even finished speaking, sounds of lovemaking filled the phone. Chloe's seductive moans were amplified to the max. My eardrums felt like they were about to burst. A wave of nausea rapidly surged up my throat, and I couldn't hold it back any longer. I retched loudly, spewing everything onto the floor. So this was my 8-year relationship, so fragile it couldn't withstand the slightest storm. Blake was still smugly spouting nonsense. "Mr. Hayes, did you hear that? This is the girlfriend you cherished and pampered so dearly. Listen to how wild and wanton she sounds in my bed." He took a drag from a post-coital cigarette, and said flippantly, "Don't worry, as a reward for all those years of careful tending, I've already prepared a little gift for you. Overnight, I landed on 2 trending lists. Straight guys camming woman bidder coming out hotdance benite danches exorbitant compensation after breakup, no conscience." The whole thing stemmed from a post on X. The blogger claimed to be Leo's ex-girlfriend, accusing Leo of being a dancer at a gay club in Los Angeles and having affairs with male clients. After their breakup, Leo, under the guise of compensation, demanded back all the money he had spent on her over the years, and threatened her with compromising photos to claim exorbitant compensation. LGBTQ+ topics were already sensitive, and with the explosive topics of a straight guy getting into the scene and an exorbitant compensation claim, influencers and media outlets caught wind of it, and an internet-wide condemnation quickly spread. What the hell? Are straight and gay people both this degenerate? Sleeping with men isn't good either. Do you really think you're some hotshot? Chaos in the gay scene is rampant. The government should do something. So many minors are being harmed. Does trash like this even deserve to be a preschool teacher? Fire him immediately, before he harms himself and others. Scumbag, jerk, total ass. I just want an eye for an eye. A flurry of diverse comments flooded in, all personal attacks and sweeping generalizations. The insults drowned out the few rational voices. Leo and Brokeback Mountain topped the trending list, and my gay club videos and school information were completely dug up and exposed. Overnight, my life's trajectory was laid bare for public display, to be judged and scrutinized at will. I never imagined that one day I would be nailed to a pillar of shame for my sexual orientation, condemned by everyone. Only at this moment did I truly taste how bitter prejudice tastes. Clients who had once supported me quickly cut ties, fearing association with my notoriety. The preschool director forced me to resign, citing damage to the school's reputation. Former friends shunned me like the plague, and all those promises made when borrowing money turned to dust. Even my own father, who had abandoned my mother years ago, called just to verbally abuse me. "You little monster, you've completely disgraced our family name. Constantly getting screwed by men, has your ass become loose like a whore's? I truly regret not having choked you in your cradle back then. What are you pretending to be, you old monster?" I sneered. "Didn't you also drain my mother dry and then kick her to the curb? You're chip off the old block, aren't you?" After saying that, I hung up the phone, and silence descended once more. I cleared my head on the rooftop, gazing at the bustling streets below, and felt a wave of despair. What exactly did I do wrong? Should I be condemned by everyone just for giving my all for love? Just as I thought the entire world had abandoned me, my phone suddenly lit up. Let's meet. I have a way to help you fight back. Phoenix. The other party then sent a long video. In the video, Chloe was moaning and performing for Blake. Beneath him, I repeatedly confirmed the room number 3 times at the VIP lounge door. Inside sat a young man with a handsome face, exuding an air of nobility in his every gesture. Seeing my dazed expression, he teased, "What? Are you disappointed to see me in person?" No, 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 not at all. I waved my hands frantically. The corners of his lips lifted into a playful smile. I don't know why, but seeing his face made my cheeks burn. Collecting myself, I explained, "I just didn't expect you to be so young and handsome, more dazzling than any male celebrity I've seen in magazines." "Oh, is my demeanor disappointing you then?" He raised an eyebrow, feigning displeasure. "My apologies. That's not what I meant," I said sincerely. "In your style and demeanor, I can sense an innate elegance and confidence." Phoenix, that was his nickname in the scene. He rarely showed his true face, always wearing a mask, cultivating an air of mystery. He was not only a permanent judge for the Brokeback Mountain male model pageant, but also my top patron at the gay club. More than once, he had handed me large sums of cash while I danced, and he often introduced me to resources behind the scenes. Thanks to his guidance, my dancing skills and stage presence steadily improved, and I gradually gained some recognition. We'd shared a few meaningful glances backstage, and subtly brushed against each other on the dance floor, but ultimately, it remained unspoken, just short of expression. Although we never crossed the boundaries of our professional relationship, he knew my nicknames, hobbies, and family background intimately, far more than a typical client. He even offered to sponsor me to study dance abroad, but I politely declined, because I couldn't abandon Chloe. Phoenix didn't push it, merely checking in on my recent situation now and then, like an exceptionally thoughtful mentor. During that difficult period, it was his quiet support that allowed me to rally and strive for my beloved's surgery. But when I finally raised the money, and was ready to bid farewell to my past, his figure was gone from the dance floor. Facing such a noble benefactor, who had helped me in my time of need and beyond, I should have been purely grateful, yet a different kind of feeling secretly blossomed within me. But thinking of my girlfriend, I ruthlessly suppressed that personal desire. I just never expected that in this darkest hour, after enduring betrayal and slander, he would extend his hand to me. Once again, the dormant stirrings in my heart rekindled with our reunion. "I thought you'd be more aloof," I teased. "Aloofness can be a sophisticated game," Phoenix said, winking and with a double meaning. "But I prefer honest and enthusiastic communication. The feeling's mutual," I replied, raising my glass. "I am honored that you would condescend to meet me, still using such formal address. Treating me like a stranger," he said, patting the empty seat beside him. "Come sit closer, let's have a proper chat." I sat down as instructed, and noticed a distinctive peacock brooch pinned to his suit, making him appear even more exceptionally noble. "You know my surname is Davis, but you don't know my full name, do you?" He smiled mysteriously. "My name is Ethan, you can just call me Ethan." "Ethan." I savored the taste of the name, and then it clicked. "Could you be the heir to the Davis Corporation? The Ethan who was named young leader by that finance magazine?" Ethan nodded helplessly. "Yes, that's me." I had hoped to keep a low profile, but it seems I can't escape your keen eye. I couldn't help but feel a surge of emotion. Ethan's father was once the nation's foremost financial titan, sitting on hundreds of billions in assets. Unfortunately, he later crossed a political red line and was imprisoned. The family business was once on the brink of collapse, but thanks to this eldest son stepping up in a crisis, he managed to reverse the decline. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, this scion not only avoided living a life of luxury, but instead, with his extraordinary talent and courage, revitalized the family business. How could such an experience not inspire deep respect? In contrast, due to my background and aspirations, I was destined to only strike seductive poses in the gay club's dance floor, providing entertainment for others. "Leo, I've always thought your dancing and physique are so exceptional. It's a waste for you to be in a gay club. Why don't you join my company?" "Your company?" "Prime Dance Group, focused on cultivating dance stars. Although we've only just started, backed by the Davis Corporation, our potential for growth is limitless." Ethan's deep eyes sparkled, his voice confident and alluring. "Follow me, and within 3 years, I guarantee I'll make you leap from the dance floor to become a global sensation, shining brightly." entering the dance world and becoming Ethan's dancer. This was a life I had never imagined. After finishing my second cigarette in the restroom, I still couldn't make up my mind. Left with no choice, I decided to head back to the VIP lounge first, but then, someone unexpected burst onto the scene. Chloe and Blake were openly kissing, as if no one else was around. They were kissing passionately, unable to part, until Chloe caught sight of me and reluctantly pushed the man away. "Leo, are you stalking me?" she demanded, her eyes wide with fury. Before I could explain, Blake cut in. "Oh, isn't this Ms. Davis' ex-boyfriend? What a pleasure, what a pleasure." He looked me up and down, then scoffed. "How's it going lately? Is your ass still doing well after being used?" Ha ha ha. A crowd of onlookers had gathered at some point, and hearing his words, they all chuckled uncontrollably. I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my flesh, almost drawing blood. But remembering that there were cameras everywhere, I could only suppress my rage, and say coldly, "Chloe, you really do bring home any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Aren't you afraid of getting rabies?" Blake's face changed, and just as he was about to erupt, Chloe shrieked first, "Bullshit. How dare you speak like that? Blake and I are truly in love. Who are you, a pathetic pauper, to tell us what to do? Ha, true love." I sneered. "Besides a few stinking dollars, what else does he have going for him? He's just a promiscuous playboy, you used piece of trash I am done with, and he takes you home like you're some treasure. You." Blake was so enraged he couldn't speak, raising his hand to slap me. Chloe stopped him, saying smugly, "Forget it, don't stoop to his level, let's go, don't waste our time." With that, she linked her arm through Blake's and started to leave. Before she went, she didn't forget to turn back and mock, "Leo, you're just jealous that I found a man 100 times better than you, you pathetic worm. Stay in your gay club for the rest of your life. Don't worry, without a leech like you, I've been perfectly clean for ages." I retorted sarcastically, "You, on the other hand, should stop prostituting yourself in luxury cars. Be careful you don't catch syphilis, you're full of it." Chloe was furious. But before she could finish, a discordant voice cut in. "Oh, is this a cheesy drama being filmed? Why didn't anyone call me for a cameo?" I looked in the direction of the voice, and saw Ethan leaning against the wall, watching the scene unfold with an amused expression. "Ethan." I was astonished. "Honey, you're back just in time, how about we go to the next hall?" Ethan sneered and put an arm around my shoulder, his tone playful. Well, isn't this the flaunting slut? A cheap piece of trash who can be bought for a few bucks, daring to act like a lady here." Ethan glanced at Chloe and said disdainfully, "Brother, you've got good taste. I've been with this hottie too. She's definitely wild, screaming like a shrew in bed. Shut up." Chloe trembled with rage, pointing at Ethan, unable to utter a single word for a long time. Blake, however, was sharp-eyed. He spotted the family crest on Ethan's suit, and his face immediately changed. Mr. Davis?" he asked with a fawning smile. "What a coincidence. A pleasure to meet you." He quickly pulled Chloe aside and whispered, "Don't act impulsively. He's the young master of the Davis Corporation, we can't afford to offend him." Hearing this, Chloe's face instantly went pale, but she was unwilling to admit defeat so easily, and still glared at Ethan defiantly. Seeing this, Ethan didn't get angry, merely sneered. "You really treat any trash like a treasure, aren't you afraid of catching some nasty disease?" Yes, Mr. Davis is absolutely right," Blake said, smiling obsequiously. "It was my poor judgment that made me fancy this trash. Please don't take offense, all expenses tonight are on my tab, consider it an apology." With that, Blake roughly pushed Chloe away and made to kneel. Ethan waved his hand in disgust. "Forget it. Arguing with people like you would just dirty my hands." Ethan couldn't be bothered with him, and simply took my arm and walked away. Blake was left ashen-faced, wishing he could slap himself. He glared furiously at Chloe, who before she could even grasp what had happened, received a slap. "It's all your fault, you slut. You made me lose face in front of Mr. Davis. Get out. Pa. Either one who's trash. You short-limbed. A quick shooter." Chloe shrieked hysterically, tearing at Blake's collar, seeing the situation about to spiral out of control. A waiter quickly called security. As for me, I had already been pulled into the elevator by Ethan. "Next hall." "Where are we going?" I asked, bewildered. Ethan smiled mysteriously, and just as the elevator doors slowly closed, he leaned down and kissed me in the deserted corner. Ethan locked the door behind him and pressed me against the wall, his fervent kiss immediately following. I was kissed until I was dizzy, my legs turning to jelly. If he hadn't been supporting my waist, I would have collapsed to the floor. After a long while, he reluctantly let me go. How was my acting? Ethan teased. Oh, you're born method actor. An arrogant CEO role is far too simple for you. I feigned annoyance and rolled my eyes at him. Ethan chuckled without a word and lit a cigarette. The night breeze dispersed the bluish-gray smoke rings and ruffled the hair on his forehead. His chiseled face looked exceptionally handsome in the moonlight, though there was an unshakable weariness in his eyes. Blake, that bastard's wife, is divorcing him right now. I sent her all their videos. Hell probably be cleaned out, he said, his tone flat, as if it didn't concern him. My heart remained silent, even witnessing my enemy's humiliation firsthand. I felt no satisfaction. Did you get your revenge? Ethan seemed to read my thoughts, only half. I said with a bitter smile, watching my enemy kneel and apologize, seeing the unfaithful person abandoned and trampled, watching those arrogant bullies defeated by a stronger force. In the past, I would have applauded with glee, but now, I just felt a profound emptiness. All of this was merely leveraging the Davis family's influence and the power of money. Chloe and Blake were simply defeated by a greater power, and I was merely a pawn on the side of that power. This victory felt utterly meaningless. Ethan walked over to my side, his slender fingers caressing my cheek. Leo, don't belittle yourself. I love you not out of pity, and certainly not out of sympathy. My reflection shimmered in his dark pupils. I admire you. I admire your courage, your resilience, and your hard work, the suffering you've endured, the tears you've shed. They are all your medals of honor. You deserve everything. With that, he kissed my lips again, a long, lingering kiss, as if he wanted to meld me into his very bones. He only released me reluctantly when I was breathless. Our foreheads touched, our breaths mingled. In that moment, the entire world went quiet. I think I had truly fallen in love with him. Overnight, the online discussion about me took a complete 180-degree turn. Fall-end Dancer Rising and Truman Transformation quickly topped the trending list, completely displacing all the previous attacks against me. Someone posted a detailed account of my dancing journey, providing solid evidence to clear my name. Leo won a street dance competition in high school. Later, he was forced to become a gigolo to pay for his girlfriend's medical treatment, but he never gave up dancing. He endured immense humiliation, shouldering burdens and earning money by dancing in a gay club with his skills. That's deep love, not degradation, were those who cursed him blind. This is a man of true grit. What's wrong with stripping if it supports himself and saves his girlfriend? Ha! That ungrateful wretch Chloe has the nerve to talk about others. Doesn't she look in the mirror to see what she's after? Leo deserves better. With irrefutable evidence, netizens' attitudes shifted dramatically overnight, and they began to self-reflect. I was wrong. I shouldn't have blindly believed rumors and unilaterally condemned Leo. He's a true man, 100 times better than some scumbags who only spend women's money. Instant like. From now on, I am Leo's diehard fan. Speak up for true love. Down with the fake bitches. I am sorry, bro. I misunderstood you before. I hope to see you dance in person someday. And just like that, the former sneers and mockery against me vanished, replaced by an overwhelming wave of sympathy and encouragement. Because I bore a strong resemblance to Jam Hsieh, some fans nicknamed me the Rain King of Los Angeles. The Rain King only started dancing to pay for his girlfriend's medical treatment. And what did he get in return? A backstabbing bitch's betrayal and slander. Who is the Rain King? Earning hundreds of thousands a night, all for some ungrateful wretch. It's not worth it. Instantly, the Rain King's name resounded across the internet, and Ethan personally stepped in to manage comments. Pushing public opinion to its peak, he posted a dazzling poster of me dancing on his personal page, with the caption, "Welcome Leo to officially sign with Prime Dance Group as our chief dancer and artist, tonight at 8 p.m, Therain King debut, don't miss it." And he tagged countless industry friends to show their support and repost. Overnight, my fan count reached 7 figures. A god descends. Must be there tonight to cheer on the Rain King. Don't dream big. Upstairs, you might not even get into Mr. Davis' venue. Whether you go or not isn't important. Tonight, the Rain King will be dancing on stage, and the audience will be full of influencers and celebrities. That's the peak of life. Chloe and Blake can just wait to starve at home. They'll never recover in this lifetime. Countless people eagerly awaited my debut, and even I, the person involved, found it hard to believe. Once scorned by countless people, now I was the center of attention. Fate just plays tricks like that. Chloe and Blake, the culprits, probably never dreamed this day would come. Although Ethan was pulling the strings behind the scenes for all of this, at this moment, I didn't care at all. Perhaps one day I'll grow tired of being a puppet on a string, but right now, I just want to hold this man tightly and embrace my new life. Ethan paved the way for me, and I gave it my all, without slacking off. In just 3 years, I transformed from an unknown gigolo into a highly sought-after top dancer. All resources and opportunities flowed to me, and my dance talent was fully showcased. With each stunning performance, I garnered countless cheers and accolades, finally standing center stage. Ultimately, I successfully won the title of Continental Dance Champion. On the award ceremony stage, I was in tears. In that moment, all suffering turned into a laughing matter, and all my sweat was rewarded. Success, fame, everything arrived as promised. A friend once said, "Don't complain about not having benefactors around. Once you become famous, people will flock to you." Sure enough, after I became famous, no one dared to say a single word against me. Those who once treated me like dirt suddenly changed their tune. The neighborhood busybody, who used to complain about me being poor and gossip behind my back, was now smiling broadly, offering to set me up on dates. Those drunkards who used to grope me in the gay club's restroom were now lining up to curry favor with me. Even my irresponsible biological father shamelessly called, claiming he had always been proud of me. But I distinctly remembered that it was he who had led the charge in humiliating me, slandering me as gay, and calling me base. The sight made me nauseous. Just as they once disdained me, I scoffed at their fawning and insincere flattery. Of course, Chloe was no exception. That day, I was invited to serve as a celebrity judge for a new talent competition. While everyone was busy with makeup and rehearsals backstage, I suddenly heard a commotion. "What's going on?" I asked a staff member nearby. "Oh, there was a disreputable woman who insisted on coming in." The young assistant looked annoyed. "Apparently, she wanted to see you." "A woman wanting to see me?" A bad feeling instantly washed over me. I stood up abruptly and strode towards the lounge. The moment I pushed open the door, I came face to face with Chloe. 3 years had passed, and she seemed to have aged 10. Her chiseled features were covered in thick makeup, and her eyes held a contrived expression. Both her makeup and her attire were garish, with no trace of the girl she once was. "Leo." She grabbed my arm, speaking in a saccharine voice, feigning intimacy. "I've been looking for you for so long. Well, if it isn't Ms. Davis." I coldly pulled my arm free, stepping back 2 paces. "Still doing well, I see." She settled onto the sofa without a word, crossing her legs, giving me a blatant view. "I haven't been doing well these past few years," she said, giving me a resentful glance. "Blake, that scumbag, ruined my life. He had a history of domestic abuse, constantly hitting and yelling at me. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore, so I broke up with him. But then he hired people to beat me up, and used those old photos of us to blackmail me, demanding money. You know I am not a capable person. I couldn't survive in the industry these past few years. I am homeless now, sleeping on film studio and shopping mall couches every day. If I didn't occasionally get some small roles in indie movies, I would have starved to death." As she spoke, she looked at me pitifully, tears welling in her eyes, but I was unmoved. What did her predicament have to do with me? She made her choices. "So, why are you here to see me?" I asked, my face expressionless. Chloe was clearly unprepared for my coldness. She froze for a moment, then adopted a pathetic demeanor. "Leo, we did love each other. After all, just out of pity, could you help me get a job on the show? I fought so hard to get this opportunity, and if I fail this time, I am truly finished." As she spoke, she tried to lean into my embrace, her soft hand already touching my chest. A wave of disgust washed over me. The once strong-willed and spirited girl was now so willing to debase herself, so shameless, just to climb the ladder. "I am sorry, but frankly, this show isn't for your type." I coldly pushed her away and straightened my collar. "As for our past, in my eyes, it's long gone. Don't come looking for me again. I find it distasteful." With that, I turned and left without a backward glance. Behind me, a harrowing wail echoed. I never imagined that this ordinary new talent competition would ultimately lead to a death. The day before the show's recording, the police found Chloe's body at her residence. The cause of death was an overdose of tranquilizers. The police found a suicide note at the scene, its words mournful and desolate, expressing her guilt and apology to me. She wrote that she was sorry for hurting me back then, that vanity had blinded her, she regretted it immensely, and wanted to make amends, but it was too late. My coldness and heartlessness became the final straw that broke her. She had lost everything, and this world had no place for her. Only death could atone. Chloe's death caused quite a stir in the industry. Everyone speculated about the reason for her suicide, and some subtly asked about my feelings. Facing the cameras, I remained composed, only expressing sorrow for her untimely passing and wishing her peace. Gossip is a powerful weapon. Some said I forced Chloe to her death, others that my coldness killed her. Rumors were rampant online, but I no longer had time to bother with them. All I wanted to cherish was what I had now. On the day I was awarded the title of Continental Dance Champion, Ethan and I embraced backstage, officially establishing our relationship. I said emotionally, "Ethan, thanks to your help, I can stand here today. I worked hard for 3 years so that one day, we could stand side by side." He smiled and shook his head. "Silly, in my eyes, you'll always be the most special one, regardless of wealth or poverty. Your place in my heart is irreplaceable." I couldn't help but ask that foolish question again. But why me? We clearly have a vast difference in social standing. Ethan didn't answer directly, but instead asked, "Do you still remember this scar on your arm?" I instinctively touched the scar, recalling, "I remember. I got it when I first came to this city." Ethan gazed at me, his voice firm. "That night, I was mugged in the bar alley, and luckily, a passerby saved me. That passerby was you. You were covered in blood, but your eyes were incredibly resolute. That moment, I was drawn to you. But due to our different statuses, I didn't dare confess impulsively." My eyes widened in shock. The person I met by chance encounter, back then was now my lover. Later, when I learned you became a dancer for your girlfriend, I tried every way to help you through your difficulties. Ethan's voice was filled with remorse. "Actually, I had investigated Chloe a long time ago, and found that her character was questionable, but I didn't want to go against your wishes, so I didn't expose her true colors. Now that I think about it, perhaps I should have told you the truth earlier." I embraced him tenderly. "Ethan, it's not your fault. If I hadn't witnessed Chloe's betrayal firsthand, I might never have recognized her true nature. Life is bound to have detours, but only to lead me to the right person, which is you." We hugged tightly, exchanging a passionate kiss. Everything around us seemed to disappear. The world was only us. After becoming the Continental Dance Champion, I immediately became the target of public ridicule. Some would spout nonsense, claiming I only rose to fame because of the Davis family's influence. Others speculated about Ethan's and my relationship, saying I was untalented and only good at being a sugar baby. Rumors were rampant online, all questioning my ability and character. Faced with all this, I chose to dismiss it with a smile, because I knew in my heart that these achievements were all earned through my own hard work. Ethan publicly supported me, stating that my talent and efforts were clear to see and needed no explanation. Soon, as I was consistently taking home awards at major competitions, the voices of doubt gradually died down. Later, I won the World Dance Champion title, and stepped onto the world stage. At the awards ceremony, I held Ethan's hand tightly and publicly announced my coming out. I want to thank my partner, Ethan, who is my guide and my motivation. Without him, Leo wouldn't be here today. Nothing in this world can stop us from moving forward hand in hand, because true love conquers all. Ethan and I embraced and kissed publicly, and the audience erupted in thunderous applause. Some cheered, some cried. At that moment, our love received everyone's blessing. Time flew by, and in the blink of an eye, we both became octogenarians. One lazy afternoon, Ethan was napping on my lap, and I couldn't help but gently stroke the graying hair at his temples, whispering in his ear, "Ethan, every day I've spent with you has been the happiest time of my life. This happiness isn't about money or fame. It's about you always being by my side, through thick and thin." Ethan slowly opened his eyes, his gaze as ardent as when we first met. "Leo, I have no regrets living my life with you. In the days to come, we will continue our journey together, hand in hand. As the sun set, our fingers intertwined, our smiles serene and content."